Nancy Pelosi bashes Trump, what Trey Gowdy did to her will shock you. Earlier this week, Democratic Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi gave a press conference in which she slammed Donald Trump over the scandal involving the resignation of his National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Afterwards, South Carolina Representative Trey Gowdy went on Fox News to blast Pelosi and her fellow idiot Democrats. The Daily Caller reported that Gowdy told Fox News host Martha MacCallum that Pelosi, Elijah Cummings and the rest of the House Democratic caucus took an 8-year-long vacation from doing oversight on the executive branch. Gowdy went on to say that after watching Pelosi's press conference, he thinks his colleagues have amnesia. "I will say this," he said to MacCallum. "They are very well rested because for 8 years, they didn't lift a finger to do oversight. All of that energy you saw today at their press conference, that is because they went on an 8-year-long vacation from doing oversight over the executive branch," Gowdy continued. "I am all for the committees of jurisdiction, looking into it. I am also for looking into how classified information can make its way into the public domain." HT journalist. "That is not a Republican issue or a Democrat issue. It's a legal issue. Look, new pictures of Obama's on boat emerge over weekend and everyone immediately notices one sick thing. They've spent the last month quietly recuperating in French Polynesia since leaving the White House earlier this year. But Barack and Michelle Obama interrupted the quiet island life they've become accustomed to this weekend with a star-studded jaunt out to sea. The former first couple joined Bruce Springsteen, Tom Hanks and their wives on music mogul David Geffen's super yacht Rising Sun on Friday, making quite the splash as they arrived at the vessel off the island of Maui in a spruced-up speedboat. Once on board, the Obamas played tourists, posing romantically on the upper deck while they had their photograph taken. Michelle, 53, showed off her world-renowned physique in a pair of white shorts and a black tank top. She let her usually coiffed hair fall wildly at her shoulders, elegantly slinging a brown handbag over one arm as she posed with her husband. The former president was equally laid back in his attire. He sported a pale blue shirt and some beige pants, adding a pair of sunglasses to his off-duty look. Oprah stood out in a bright yellow day dress. The stunning results of her recent weight loss were on full display as she stood side-on snapping photographs of her famous friends. The former president was also seen taking photographs of Michelle as she posed alone. Yeah, that seems to match the rhetoric that they espoused about how the upper class, and middle class, and almost poverty-stricken working class, needs to scale back so that the non-working professional welfare collectors can get more of our income. Maybe that's why this couple was so well liked. They are living the new American dream, quit work and get to party like, and fought with, rock stars on the American dime. This boat seems to have a little bit of everything, except one thing. Let's talk now about what you don't see, kids. The Obamas claim to put a premium on family, and yet since they left the White House they've done almost nothing but travel. And, don't they have kids? That's right, 2 kids, both teenagers. The oldest Malia, 18, is neatly squared away at an internship in New York, but 15-year-old Sasha, I guess, is just out of luck now that the entire country isn't watching to see if her parents are good parents. Here's how that little annoyance is addressed. Aside from a handful of visits to New York City, where their eldest daughter Malia, 18, is taking part in a film production internship at the Weinstein Company, the Obamas have largely been out of the country since January 21 when they officially handed over the White House to Donald and Melania Trump. The former president is expected to have used the downtime to begin work on his memoir. The couple signed a joint multi-million-dollar book deal with Penguin. They have also spent time in Hawaii and Palm Springs, which was their first port of call on January 21. While Malia carries on with her internship in New York before beginning classes at Harvard in the fall, Sasha, 15, is still in school in Washington, D.C. Her parents have decided to keep a residence there until she graduates. Breaking: Trump issues giant orders to 1/3 of U.S. Navy. 1 St time since World War II. According to a report by South Korea's primary news outlet, Yonhap, The Pentagon has directed a total of 3 U.S. aircraft carriers toward the Korean peninsula, citing a South Korean government source. Yonhap reports that in addition to the CVN-70 Carl Vinson, which is expected to arrive off the South Korean coast on April 25, the CVN-76 Ronald Reagan, currently in home port in Yokosuka, Japan, and the CVN-68 Nimitz carrier group, currently undergoing final pre-deployment assessment, composite training unit exercise off Oregon, will enter the Sea of Japan next week. According to the senior government official, the U.S. and South Korea are discussing joint drills, which will include the 3 aircraft carriers and other ships. VN-68 Nimitz Carrier Group. USS Carl Vinson, surrounded by a fleet of U.S. warships, was sent by Washington toward the Korean peninsula in the beginning of April. While details are scarce, and we would urge confirmation from U.S.-based sources, Yonhap also reports that according to the government source the operation of 3 aircraft carriers in the same location is unusual, and demonstrates the U.S. commitment to North Korea. Other sources said the Trump administration is demonstrating deterrence by acting on its behalf. We expect it to be completely different from the previous administration. On Sunday, Pyongyang launched an unidentified projectile, but the test reportedly failed. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff, JCS, stated that the attempt at launch was conducted from the area near North Korea's eastern port city of Sinpo, but likely ended in a failure. What do you think about this comment below? Happening now, U.S. may bring North Korea to its knees in a matter of hours. North Korea keeps making dire threats, and America really needs to pay attention. One of the most recent threats definitely put the U.S. military on high alert, and everyone is aware of the extreme instability of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Unfortunately, there's just no predicting the behavior of unstable individuals. In response to North Korea's continued threats and insults, the Donald Trump administration issued a plain ultimatum, which unsurprisingly didn't go over well. North Korea doesn't respond to ultimatums. Well, they do, but only with more threats of force. Now, with tensions rising, it seems the U.S. is prepared to launch a preemptive strike that could bring North Korea to its knees. The attack will come if officials believe Kim Jong-un is about to test his nuclear weapons. Via Western journalism, NBC News reported multiple senior intelligence officials confirmed the U.S. plans. North Korea has warned a big event is near, which officials believe could either be the test of a long-range ballistic missile or the detonation of a nuclear weapon. Saturday marks the Day of the Sun celebration in North Korea, commemorating the birth of the nation's founder Kim Il-sung, which would be a likely time for the regime to conduct either. The Wall Street Journal revealed Tuesday that activity appears to be taking place at a North Korean nuclear test site, indicative of the rogue regime preparing to detonate a nuclear device. Currently, the American Navy has 2 destroyers capable of launching Tomahawk cruise missiles, similar to the ones the U.S. tossed at Syria last week. And when North Korea said they would hold the U.S. wholly accountable for the catastrophic consequences if America hits North Korea, that was the time Trump and his team took action. They're also concerned about Kim Jong-un launching a sudden strike against South Korea, one of America's allies. Once again, however, we have the problem of unpredictability. There's just no knowing what those red crazies are going to do. Shades of the Cold War, no doubt. We just have to hope and pray that things work out, and if North Korea takes the wrong step, the U.S. halts them in their tracks. Mike Pence makes impromptu visit to DMZ, warns North Korea not to test the U.S. Vice President Mike Pence made an unexpected and impromptu visit to Camp Boniface, a joint U.S. and South Korean base located along the demilitarized zone that separates North and South Korea on Monday. North Korea, a perennial agent of unrest, attempted to show their strength Sunday with an unsuccessful missile test. This morning's provocation from the North is just the latest reminder of the risks each one of you face each and every day in the defense of the freedom of the people of South Korea and the defense of America in this part of the world, Pence said during an Easter dinner shared with soldiers on Sunday. On Monday, turning his attention to the north, he warned South Korea's counterpart not to test the strength of our military forces. Speaking in Seoul, the vice president said, "We will defeat any attack and we will meet any use of conventional or nuclear weapons with an overwhelming and effective response." All options are on the table, Pence added. Trump's administration has shifted its attention toward North Korea in the past week. Over the weekend, the president stated that he is working on the North Korea problem. Trump's national security advisor H.R. McMaster stated that the president's recent decision to order missile strikes against Bashar al-Assad in Syria shows that he is clearly comfortable making tough decisions. But regarding North Korea, McMaster preached caution, saying it's time for us to undertake all actions we can, short of a military option, to try to resolve this peacefully. Pence's stop in Korea is the first on his 10-day trip throughout Asia. While tensions are flaring with North Korea, they have recently cooled with China. Trump hosted President Xi Jinping at Mar-a-Lago earlier this month. Last Tuesday, he announced that he had leveraged a trade agreement in exchange for diplomacy. "I explained to the president of China that a trade deal with the US will be far better for them if they solve the North Korea problem," Trump tweeted. What do you think? Scroll down to comment below. Breaking: Chinese and Russian subs reportedly following USS Carl Vinson. Now that the USS Carl Vinson is getting near the coast of the Korean peninsula, it's picked up some very undesirable followers. The Japan News reported Sunday that 2 intelligence-gathering vessels from both Russia and China have been dispatched to follow the Carl Vinson's carrier strike group. A Japanese official told the Japan News parent publication, the Yomiuri Shimbun, that it appears the 2 nations are looking to probe the actions of the carrier strike group as it arrives off the coast of troubled North Korea. The news came after reports of a failed missile launch the day after North Korea's Day of the Sun, a celebration of the birthday of North Korean founder Kim Il-sung, according to CNN. The New York Times has warned that North Korea's nuclear sites also appear primed for a nuclear weapons test. That test, if it occurred, would be the 6th from the pariah nuclear state. While many speculated that the Day of the Sun would be the ideal time for such a test to take place, North Korea will also be celebrating the 85th anniversary of its military's foundation later this month. Such an event would also